Your AI coding agent just read 10,000 tokens to find one error, and you paid for every single one of them. Watch the exact moment it happens. The agent runs a command. The command spits out 10,000, 144 tokens of logs, and your agent swallows all of it just to find one line that says fatal. Last time, I showed you a free tool that shrinks what the AI writes back. And a lot of you commented the same thing. That's only half the bill. You were right. Because the bigger leak is not what your AI says, it's what your AI reads. Today, I'll show you a free open source tool with over 40,000 stars that compresses everything your agent reads before it ever reaches the model. Same answers, up to 95% fewer tokens. It's called Headroom. Let me show you how it works and how to switch it on in 60 seconds. Start with the idea that changes everything. When you use an AI agent, you are paying for two streams of tokens: the output, what the model writes back to you, and the input, everything the model has to read before it can answer. And here is what almost nobody realizes: the input is usually the giant one. Every tool result, every log file, every search hit, every chunk your agent retrieves, every file it opens, all of it gets stuffed into the context window, and you pay for all of it on every single turn. Caveman, the tool from last time, brilliantly shrinks the output. But if you only fix the output, you have patched the small leak and ignored the flood. Headroom goes after the flood. Let me make this concrete with Headroom's own numbers on real agent tasks. A code search returning 100 results, 17,765 tokens in. Debugging a production incident, 65,000 tokens of logs and traces. Triaging a single GitHub issue, 54,000 tokens. These are not edge cases. This is a normal Tuesday for an AI agent. And you are billed for every token, every time the agent loops. Multiply that across a team, across a day, and you get the headlines you already know. Companies whose AI coding bill quietly grew bigger than the junior engineer it was supposed to help. The leak is the input. So, what if you could shrink it by 90% without losing the answer? That is Headroom. It's a free open source compression layer that sits between your agent and the model. Over 40,000 stars on GitHub, Apache licensed, and here is the part that matters for your security team. It runs entirely on your own machine. Your code, your logs, your data never leave your laptop. Headroom compresses the context locally, sends the smaller version to the model, and that's it. In its own live demo, a tool output of 10,000, 144 tokens becomes 1,260. And the agent still finds the exact same fatal error. That's an 88% cut with zero loss. Now, the obvious question, the one you should be asking, is how on earth do you throw away 90% of the text and still get the same answer? Here's the trick: Headroom does not chop text randomly. It is smart about what it is looking at. A little rotor reads each piece of context and picks the right tool for the job. If it's JSON, like an API response, a compressor called Smart Crusher collapses all the repeated structure. If it's code, a different one understands the actual syntax tree and keeps the logic while dropping the noise across Python, JavaScript, Go, Rust, Java, and C++. And if it's plain text, like logs or documentation, a small trained model, built specifically on AI agent transcripts, rewrites it tighter. One more piece quietly saves you money too. It lines up the start of your prompts so the model's cache actually gets reused instead of paying full price every time. Right tool, right content. That is why the answers survive. But here is the genuinely clever part, and it's the reason you can trust this on real work. Headroom's compression is reversible. When it shrinks something, it does not delete the original. It keeps a copy locally and hands the model a little retrieval tool. So if the model ever decides, wait, I need the full version of that file, it just asks for it, and Headroom gives it back instantly. They call it reversible compression. Think about what that means. You are not gambling that the summary kept the one detail you needed. The full detail is still there, one request away. Compression with an undo button. That is the difference between a risky shortcut and something you would actually run in production. Now, the claim that sounds too good. Same answers, a fraction of the tokens. They actually benchmarked it, and the numbers are public. On GSM8K, a hard math benchmark. Accuracy before, 87%. Accuracy with headroom compression, 87%. Identical. On Truthful QA, a factual benchmark, it did not just hold, it went up by 3 points. On a question answering test, 97% accuracy, while compressing the context by nearly 20%. On a tool use benchmark, 97%, while cutting a third. So this is not cheaper, but dumber. It's cheaper and exactly as smart. And you can run these benchmarks yourself with one command. It's all in the repo. Okay. How do you actually use this? There are 4 ways, and one of them takes literally one line. 1. The wrapper. Type headroom wrap Claude, and it instantly cloaks Claude code with compression. The same command works for Codex Cursor, Aider, and Copilot. 2. The proxy. Run headroom proxy on a port, point any app at it, and every request gets compressed. 0 code changes in any language. 3. The library. One function, compress, that you drop into your own Python or TypeScript code. And 4. The MCP server. So any agent that speaks MCP gets compress and retrieve as built-in tools. Most of you should just run headroom wrap Claude and watch your token meter drop. That is the whole setup. And remember the output, the thing Caveman fixed last time? Headroom does that half too from the same layer. Flip one switch, output shaper on, and it does 2 things. It quietly tells the model to stop with the preambles and the restating of code you already gave it. And when the model is just resuming after reading a file or a passing test, it dials the deep thinking down, because that step does not need it. New questions and real errors still get full effort. Remember, on the top models, output tokens cost about 5 times what input does. So trimming the rambling is real money. So you are not choosing between fixing the input or the output anymore. Headroom is the one layer that does both. And here is the thing that made me actually trust the people who built this. For the output savings, they refuse to show you a fake number because they cannot see what the model would have written without them. They don't pretend to. Instead of a confident lie, they show you an honest estimate with a confidence range. Quote, reduction, 31.7%, 95% confidence, roughly 28 to 36. Labeled, estimated. In a space full of inflated marketing claims, a tool that shows you the honest range is a tool you can believe. 2 more gifts while we're here. It carries a shared memory across Claude, Codex, and Gemini, so your agents stop relearning the same things. And a command, headroom learn, that reads your failed sessions and writes the fixes back into your project's instructions. It quietly gets smarter the more you use it. Let me be straight about when to skip this, because honesty is the whole point. If you only ever use one model with its own built-in compaction and you don't care about sharing memory across tools, you might not need it. And if you work in a lockdown environment where you cannot run local processes at all, it will not fit. For everyone else, and that's most of us running agents every day, here is the entire setup. Install it. Pip install headroom-AI. Wrap your agent. Headroom wrap Claude. Then run headroom perf to watch the savings stack up. That's 60 seconds and it is free forever. The companies in the headlines are rationing access and building dashboards to police spending. You get to just quietly fix the actual leak and pay a fraction. So that is the move. Caveman, Shrank what your AI says. Headroom shrinks the much bigger thing your AI reads. Locally, reversibly, with the same answers. I packed the whole thing into one free guide. The install line, all 4 ways to run it, the reversible compression trick, the benchmark table, and the exact command to switch it on. To get it, just comment the word headroom and I'll send it straight to you. Quick honest ask. Most of you watching have not subscribed. On YouTube, it's free and it tells the algorithm to push this to more builders. On Facebook, hit follow. And if you can, the supporter membership is what actually keeps these breakdowns coming. And on Instagram, I drop the bite sized version of every one of these. If you want to go deeper, my complete Claude code guide is linked in the description. Every template and workflow I actually use. The leak was never your fault. But now that you can see it, plugging it is a choice. Go make it.